This is Radio KCM, and welcome to 70s Unheard. I'm Jeff Gerkins, and as we approach the 4th of July, for today's show, I'm focusing on forgotten 70s hits related to summer. Let's start with a trip to the islands. Jay Ferguson, an American musician, known for his work with bands like Spirit and JoJo Gunn. Here's his biggest solo hit, a perfect summer island song from 1977, Thunder Island.
Sunshine, go away today. I don't feel much like dancing. Some man's gone, he's tried to run my life. He don't know what he's asking. When he tells me I better get in line, I can't hear what he's saying. When I grow up, I'm gonna make it mine. These ain't dues I've been paying. Well, how much does it cost? I'll buy it. The time is all we've lost. I'll try it. And he can't even run his own life. I'll be damned if you run mine. Sunshine, sunshine, go away today. I don't feel much like dancing. Some man's gone, he's tried to run my life. You don't know what he's asking. Working starts to make me wonder where the fruits of what I do are going. He says in love and war all is fair, but he's got cards he ain't showing. How much does it cost? I'll buy it. The time is all we've lost. I'll try it. And he can't even run his own life. I'll be damned if you run mine. Sunshine, sunshine, come on back another day. I promise you I'll be singing. This old world, she's gonna turn around. Brand new bells will be ringing.
From Aitkin, Minnesota, now living in Portland, Maine, that's Jonathan Edwards with his only hit from 1972. Certainly a song about summertime and sunshine. Go away today. This is 70s Unheard. With a special episode featuring summer songs. When I was around 22 years old, just a few months after college graduation, I was fortunate enough to land a position on air at one of the nation's first classic rock radio stations, WGFX, The Fox in Nashville. I was very proud as Nashville was a top 30 market in America at that time. I quickly moved, though, into the sales department, where I met a man who would have a great impact on my life. I'll call him Jerry to protect the innocent. The first thing Jerry ever said to me as we sat in our sales department cubicles, me in my cheap suit, trying to impress, was, "Hey, you know, you're not supposed to wear a belt and suspenders at the same time." And I didn't know that. He said, "Let me take you to a local men's store. Let's get you some nicer clothes." Jerry was possibly the most handsome and charming man I had ever seen in my life, but he had had some past problems, resulting in a trip to rehab. His mother was a prominent Nashville realtor whose face appeared on billboards around town, and I suspect she had a hand in helping him land the job at the Fox. I was completely impressed by Jerry. We would hop on the elevator in the morning to go to the sales office, and a random young lady would step on, riding to the top floor, and over the course of a 10-floor lift, he was so charming, he would have the woman's phone number and made plans for the weekend before we reached the top. Being a new Nashville resident and a local nobody, I felt like Jerry might be my ticket to becoming part of the in crowd in Nashville. One weeknight, as we were leaving the radio station, he said, "Hey, would you like to see a real recording session?" I said, "Well, that would be great." So we drove over to 16th Avenue, where through the window I could see a band called the Highwaymen tinkering in the studio. I never actually got to go in and meet them, but from a distance, I was able to see Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson standing around waiting to record. Jerry was also very proud of the fact that he had a lifetime backstage pass to the Grand Ole Opry. But the most exciting part of my relationship with Jerry was his relationship with a fading, formerly very famous female country singer from Nashville who achieved fame at a very young age. I won't say her name, but you would all know her. He proudly talked at length about their relationship, and it was weeks before I finally got the chance to go out with the couple and meet her. They were newly engaged, and we were attending a concert of a popular 70s soul band at a local riverfront nightclub. I think it was called Crawdaddy's. And the night started out well enough. A group of us grabbed dinner at a local steakhouse, but this unnamed, formerly very famous country singer had very little to do with us, and she seemed really to bristle at the idea of our presence. Throughout the night, it became clear that things weren't perfect between Jerry and the formerly very famous female country star. By the time we reached Crawdaddy's and were enjoying the show, things were getting uncomfortable between Jerry and the formerly very famous female country music singer who achieved fame at a young age. At their most heated moment, they walked outside and onto the deck overlooking the Cumberland River. It was there that the exchange became the most heated, resulting in this formerly very famous female country music star taking off a recently received engagement ring from Jerry and throwing it off the deck and into the Cumberland River, thus ending the night and likely the engagement for Jerry and the formerly very famous female country singer. The rest of us from the radio station pretended not to have seen what happened and went back inside to enjoy the remainder of the show. Weeks later, I was sitting at my desk on a Friday afternoon in a cubicle next to Jerry when federal law enforcement officers walked into the sales office and proceeded to place Jerry in handcuffs. And the sales staff was shocked. I was devastated. Jerry was my hero. He was responsible for fashion advice and most of the good times I had during my short stay in Nashville. It turns out the reason he had access to the Highwaymen, to the Grand Ole Opry, and to the formerly very famous female country singer was that Jerry, as a supplement to his radio income, was dealing in a particular illegal substance. He ultimately pled guilty and was sent to Atlanta to a federal penitentiary where he was a roommate with another famous Tennessean, a banker who was also convicted around the same time. Many months later, I had become a pharmaceutical rep and was in a physician's waiting room waiting to see the doc, flipping through a People magazine when what to my wondering eyes would appear but an article about that same formerly famous female country singer and about how she had straightened out her life and was clean and sober, ready to move forward with her new baby, the father of which she was unwilling to reveal. Well, I'm no Maury Povich, but I had a strong suspicion of who that baby's father just might be. Occasionally, over recent years, I've Googled Jerry's name, but have never seen any mention of him anywhere online. I truly hope he's doing well and sometimes wonder whatever happened to Jerry. As for the formerly famous female country singer, she has enjoyed a resurgence. Recently, I saw her perform in Nashville with my daughter, Sarah. She opened for a newer country singer named Orville Peck just last year. And at that show, between songs, she told stories about the highs and the lows of her life. Well, if I saw her on the street today, she likely would have no idea who I was, but I can honestly say I was there for one of her lows. And the band that was playing that night when that formerly very famous female country singer threw her engagement ring off the deck at Crawdaddy's and into the Cumberland River was War. Best known for their hits Lowrider and Cisco Kid, and this song, one of my all-time summer favorites from 1976. Here's Summer.
Playing
That's War and Summer. Welcome to a special summer-themed episode of 70s Unheard on Radio KCM. One thing that reminds me of summer travel in the 1970s is the CB radio. And while everyone seemed to have one at the time, they were most closely associated with truckers. And I can remember my dad borrowing a CB for a vacation trip, most likely to South Carolina, trucking with the Hoskinson family, communicating via CB all the way to Myrtle Beach. And one musical theme that existed in large quantities in the 70s was trucker songs. Songs like Teddy Bear by Red Sovine, and Eastbound and Down by Jerry Reed, and 6 Days on the Road by David Dudley, and simultaneously the greatest and worst trucker song of all, Convoy by C.W. McCall. How about a threesome of my favorite forgotten trucker songs from the 70s? My first choice comes from a hugely popular album, not necessarily about truckers, but certainly about life on the road. Running on Empty from Jackson Browne. Nearly every song on this theme album deals with life on the road. Songs like Running on Empty and The Loadout and The Road are examples. The entire album was recorded on tour, either live or on stage or in locations associated with touring, like backstage, on tour buses, or in hotel rooms. Released in 1977, the album reached number 3 on the Billboard charts and stayed on the charts for 65 weeks. From that album, Running on Empty, here's Jackson Browne with Shaky Town.
I've witnessed those one-night stands. Must have played in 1,000 bands. But I'm just here tonight. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Seen folks show their blacker sides. Seen them die just for foolish pride. And those drivers always ask to hear that same old song. That's a big 10-4 from your back door. Just put that hammer down. This young man feels those 18 wheels that keep turning round to take me down to Shaky Town. I've heard all those hard luck tales from all of you U.S. males. I've heard you tell those lies about the love you've known, and I followed those highway signs. And I've run down those thin white lines. Like those drivers, this old road is all I call my own. That's a big 10-4 from your back door. Just put that hammer down. This young man feels those 18 wheels that keep turning around to take me down to Shaky Town. All the way down to Shaky Town. All the way down to Shaky trucking, got my chips cashed in, keep trucking, like the doodah man together, more or less in line, just keep trucking on. Arrows of neon and flashing marquees out on Main Street, Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all on the same street. A typical city involved in a typical daydream. Hang it up and see what tomorrow brings. Dallas got a soft machine. Houston, too close to New Orleans. New York got the ways and means and just won't let you be. That you meet on the street speak of true love. Most of the time they're sitting and crying at home. One of these days they know they gotta get going, out of the door and down to the street all alone. Trucking like the doodah man once told me, you got to pay your hand. Sometimes the cards ain't worth a dime if you don't lay them down. Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me, what a long, strange trip it's been. What in the world ever became of Sweet Jane? She lost her sparkle, you know she isn't the same. Living on reds, vitamin C and cocaine. All a friend can say is ain't it a shame? Looking up the buffalo, been thinking you got to mellow slow. It takes time to pick a place to go and just keep trucking on. Sitting and staring out of the hotel window, got a tip they're gonna kick the door in again. I'd like to get some sleep before I travel, but if you got a warrant, I guess you're gonna come in. Busted down on Bourbon Street, set up like a bowling pin, knocked down, it gets to wearing thin, it just won't let you be. You're sick of hanging around, you like to travel, get tired of traveling, you want to settle down. I guess I can't revoke us all the trying. Get out of the door, light out and look all around. Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me, what a long, strange trip it's been. Trucking, I'm going home. Whoa, whoa, baby, back where I belong. Back home, sit down and patch my bones and get back trucking.
And of course, is my second trucker song choice. That was the Grateful Dead with Truckin' from their 1970 classic album, American Beauty. Heavily edited for release as a single, the single only reached number 64 on the U.S. pop singles charts. Trucker was the highest charting pop single the group would have until their surprise top 10 performance of Touch of Grey 16 years later. But the album track was heavily played on album rock radio stations that helped popularize the group among rock audiences. And my final forgotten trucker song comes from Linda Ronstadt. For me, the music of Linda Ronstadt has always been there from my elementary school years with You're No Good, all the way through my high school with the album Mad Love. But the album Heart Like a Wheel from 1974 seems to be the album that best defines her work. Not far removed from her days at the Troubadour with Glenn Frey and Don Henley, Linda, she combined covers from some of the great songwriters with laid-back California musicians to produce music that ranks among the best of the California laid-back country sound. I remember the first time I heard Willin', the greatest Tucker song ever written. Linda was talking about driving through towns I had never heard of. I certainly had heard of Tucson. That was familiar, but Tehachapi, Tonopah, Tucumcari, I didn't know these places. It was years later that I heard the original version by Little Feat, a band that I have grown to love. This has become to me a classic. Here's Linda Ronstadt from 1974 from the album Heart Like a Wheel with a song you may remember Mandy Moore performing on the TV series This Is Us. Here's Willing.
I've been wise, and I'll be willing to be more
than. Steer it up, little darling, steer it up. Oh yeah, yeah, steer it up. Little darling, it's been a long, long time since I had you on my mind. Now you are here, it's so very clear. There's so much we could do, just me and you. Come on, steer it up. Little darling, steer it up. Oh yeah, yeah, steer it up. Little darling, I'll push the wood, light the fire. Oh, I'll satisfy your heart's desire. I will steer it every minute. All you have to do, girl, is keep it in it and steer it up. Little darling, steer it up. Oh yeah, steer it up. Little darling. I said I'll push the wood, light the fire. Oh, I'll satisfy your heart's desire. Girl, I'll steer it every minute. All you have to do is keep it in it and steer it up. Oh yeah, steer it up. Little darling, steer it up. Little darling, steer it up.
And what summer playlist would be complete without some reggae? That's Houston-born R&B and reggae singer Johnny Nash, best known for his hit I Can See Clearly Now with Steer It Up, a song written by the legendary Bob Marley. In fact, it is believed that Bob Marley played on the recording of this album of Johnny's. I believe this is the first of many reggae songs that I would hear throughout my life. I'm Jeff Gerkins, and this is 70s Unheard on Radio KCM, where we unravel the hidden gems and sonic treasures of the 70s, one song at a time. The Isley Brothers had a career that lasted decades, producing songs that everyone knows, including It's Your Thing and Shout. But the era of theirs that stands out most to me is their early 70s fuzz guitar era with hits like Who's That Lady? Another thing they did well in that era was create extended soul jams with songs that were popular in that era. Much like Isaac Hayes, they could totally perform a song we all knew and turn it into a soulful jam, introducing these songs to a totally new audience. Here's an example of one of my favorites, Summer Breeze, from their 1973 album 3+3.
No, 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 it's all in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Oh, summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind, all in my mind. See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. A little light shining through the window lets me know everything's alright. Oh, summer, you make me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Oh, summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Sweet days of summer, the jasmine's in bloom. July is dressed up and playing a tune. When I come home from a hard day's work and you're waiting there, not a care in the world. See the smile waiting in the kitchen, food cooking on a plate for two. Feel the arms reaching out to hold me in the evening when the day is through. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Friends on
And that was a song associated with the heat that summer brings, the Dwight Twilley Band. Originally from Tulsa, the band moved to Memphis, hoping to be discovered, and walked into Sun Studios, where Sam Phillips referred them to Shelter Records in L.A., a studio co-owned by Leon Russell. The single I'm on Fire reached number 16 on the U.S. charts in 1975, but Shelter Records folded before their second album was released, stalling their career. From the summer of 1975, Dwight Twilley Band with I'm on Fire. You're listening to 70s Unheard on Radio KCM. One of the many artists touted as being the new Dylan, Loudon Wainwright III had 3 brief brushes with success throughout the past 50 years. The first being his one and only top 40 hit, Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road, released in 1972. Because of that song, he's also lumped into the one-hit wonder category, but his career goes much further than that. His second brush with fame came during the run of the TV series MASH. Apparently, the stars from the show were fans of his work and added him as a character who spent time in the swamp with Hawkeye and Trapper John, performing with his acoustic guitar in 3 episodes during the 3rd season of MASH. His 3rd incarnation in 2007, he helped create the soundtrack for Judd Apatow's film Knocked Up, an album called Strange Weirdos, music from and inspired by the film Knocked Up, peaking at number 32 on the Billboard album charts. And in between each of those 3 brushes with fame, he has produced some excellent songs and albums over the years. I'm a fan of his work. From his 1973 album, Attempted Mustache, here's Loudon Wainwright III with Summer Song, all about swimming, the swimming song.
This summer I went swimming, this summer I might have drowned, but I held my breath and I kicked my feet and I moved my arms around. This summer I swam in the ocean and I swam in a swimming pool. Solved my wounds, cleaned my eyes. I'm a self-destructive fool. I'm a self-destructive fool.
From the classic 1973 Allman Brothers album, Eat a Peach, a song about something we see plenty of during the summers in East Tennessee, blue sky. You're listening to 70s Unheard, where we unravel the hidden gems and sonic treasures of the 1970s, one song at a time. I'm Jeff Gerkins. Legendary New Orleans musician, songwriter, and record producer Alan Toussaint produced hundreds of recordings, including Right Place, Wrong Time by Dr. John and Lady Marmalade by LaBelle. Toussaint was an influential figure in New Orleans rhythm and blues from the 1950s until the end of the century. He's been described as one of popular music's great backroom figures. From 1975, with a shimmering vocal that brings to mind the heat rising from Blacktop on a summer day, here's the original version of the Glenn Campbell hit Southern Nights.
Luck in my direction, I caught it in my hands today. I finally made a tricky French connection. You winked and gave me your okay. I'll take you on a trip beside the ocean and drop the top of Chesapeake Bay. Ain't nothing like the sky to dose a potion. The moon will send you on your way. Moonlight, Moonlight feels right. We'll lay back and observe the constellations and watch the moon smiling bright. I play the radio on southern stations, 'cause southern bells are hell at night. You say you came to Baltimore from Ole Miss, a class of 7-4 gold ring. The eastern moon looks ready for a wet kiss to make the tide rise again. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight feels right. Up on Sunday morning and watch it fade the moon away. I guess you know I'm giving you a warning, 'cause me and moon are itching to play. I'll take you on a trip beside the ocean and drop the top of Chesapeake Bay. Ain't nothing like the sky to dose a potion. The moon will send you on your way. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight.
With a keyboard part meant to mimic the sound of crickets on a hot summer night from 1974. That was Starbuck with Moonlight Feels Right. My favorite rock song with the marimba solo. Founded in Atlanta in the late 70s, Starbuck toured with popular groups of the era, including the Electric Light Orchestra, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Hall & Oates, and Boston. TV appearances included The Midnight Special, American Bandstand, and The Merv Griffin Show. And Solid Gold. This is 70s Unheard, and I'm Jeff Gerkins, featuring this week all summer favorites. Like the last song, let's play a song now that talks about the end of a summer day with a slowly following glowing orange ball in the sky that resembles a tangerine. A melancholy song with the lyrics, measuring a summer's day. I only find it slips away to gray. The hours, they bring me pain. Here's Led Zeppelin from the album Led Zeppelin 3 with a song that closes one of my favorite movies, Almost Famous. This is Led Zeppelin from Led Zeppelin 3 and Tangerine.
Measuring the summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours they bring me pain. Tangerine, tangerine, living reflection from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years between. Thinking how it used to be, does she still remember times like these? think of us again. And I do.
Led Zeppelin and Tangerine. That does it for 70s Unheard. I'm Jeff Gerkins. Catch me every Wednesday at 11 here on Radio KCM. You can follow me on Twitter or X at 70s Unheard. I'll post every song from today's show in order if you want to hear those on Spotify at Jeff Gerkins. And